was kind of a day yesterday. Let's call it a holy doodle type of day. And let's talk about the difference between content and context while we're at it. You know, there's been a number of years now where I've lived through trauma, grief, loss, betrayal, estrangement, devastation, health issues, diagnoses, and it still comes up. Yesterday, I found myself in another wave of grief around my partner's death. I had posted a reel that I had created shortly after he died a couple of years ago. I reposted it. It was a montage of photos of us. It was actually pretty sweet. And I wrote on the front of the montage when I posted it this time, I sure love this man, because that was true. And here's where content can start to get funky and messy, because the man I loved was also a man who had a whole other life I didn't know anything about. And he was loved by many. People experienced him in a way that was very different from what it was like being the woman in his life. Someone reached out to me privately and they said how honored they had felt to have known him, what a good human being he was. And I didn't want to take that away from them. But inside, something really got stirred up again. And it was really hard. Because after he died, all I heard was how good he was. And there wasn't really space for the part of the story that I had lived with, the part that continued to unfold after his death, living with the betrayals, the complexities that didn't resolve, that couldn't. So now I was sitting with all of that. This is content. Memories, emotions, not being seen, my mind trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. And honestly, I don't think it ever will. Not the fire. Someone else started it, for goodness sake. Not the health stuff. Not the betrayals. Not the losses. Not the estrangements. Not my vision degeneration. Not my hospitalization. The mind just keeps going, trying to figure it out, like a train chugging up a hill that never quite gets there. And this is where my lived experience comes in. I'm reluctant to call it a practice. It's really something quite different than that. It's this place and orientation, what I call context or conscious awareness. It's not thinking about stuff. It's not figuring anything out. It's the space that all of the thinking, all of the problem solving, all of the heavy emotions, the space where that all gets to be held, the context. So what happens for me now is this. I feel the activation. I feel the upset. I feel the not being seen. And that becomes my doorway. Not as something to fix or as a different way that I need to act, but something that lets me drop into, to drop back, so to speak, into the context of conscious awareness. Sometimes I feel it almost physically, like a gentle whoosh, easing back into something soft like fluffy clouds, bringing everything with me, the thinking, the emotions, the misunderstandings, the cacophony, the whirls, the swirls, all of it. And in that space, nothing needs to be resolved. Nothing needs to be understood. All of this content, the story I just told you, it's real, it matters, but it's held. And from there, if I go back and look at anything, a conversation, a response, a choice I made, it's different because I'm no longer trying to solve it from inside the storm. The mind so benefits from this daily, ongoing orientation to the context of conscious awareness. I don't sit on a cushion for half an hour even, or longer. I have what I call an orientation, a simple returning to the space of awareness. Because meditation, that word, has really become way too complicated for me. But this is really something I can actually live. So if you're out there and you're in it, trauma, grief, loss, betrayal, estrangement, something that just never resolves, I'm not going to tell you to think your way through it. I'd be surprised if you can, for longevity's sake. But there is a place you can stand. Well, all of that is here. And I'll just say this, there's a reason to stay with this. I'll offer one if you can't find one right now. I've lived this. I've tried the therapies, the books, the modalities, and none of it landed the way that conscious awareness has. This is not about fixing the content. It's about finding the space that can hold it. I'm walking right beside you, embodying the oarswoman archetype. We're in this together. And don't be fooled by the mauve hair. Instead, allow yourself to sink into the context of conscious awareness. I'll see you soon on lucky day 13 of the continuation of our ongoing conversations about the difference between content and context. Thank you for being here today.